Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the LPB INDYCAR series on Project Cars 2. This is round 2 from Long Beach. This is the first race here, and it is going to be 33 laps. I know it says Stevie there is on pole, but it's actually Bidzster who's on pole from Stevie there. That's the front row. So let's get on with this race then. Side by side for the start. Wait for the lights to go out, and we're off. Oh, there's contact already at the back. Keith hits Neil, and a few others end up with contact, but down towards the first corner. It's Bidzster versus Stevie, side by side towards the first corner. Then we've got to watch the mid-pack as well. Bidzster's into the first corner first. Then we've got Neil, Callum, Blakeney, and we've got a few cars off in the background. Bidzster and Stevie still battling hard, and Will and Blakeney, bang, contact there into the roundabout. Blakeney goes into the roundabout, and Bradders and T.Y. are off at the first corner somewhere. So there was contact between them two for definite. But it is Bidzster pulling away in the lead from Stevie, and then Neil in third place. Neil's in third, Callum behind in fourth place. Bidzster's teammate in this one in fourth place. Into the 90-degree right-hander, and then it was Stevie just hit the wall there. Neil will close up. There was Will back there in fifth, Keith sixth, Blakeney's back there in seventh, and then T.Y. and Bradders are running down the bottom end of the field. As we look at the leader then, Bidzster into the hairpin. He's into the hairpin, then it is Stevie, Neil and Callum. Remember, 33 laps of this. Stevie hits the wall there on the exit. 33 laps of this race. It is a long race, so let's just have a look at what happened on this first lap then. Okay, here's a replay of what happened at the start with Bradders and T.Y. then. So we're on board with Bradders, heading down towards the first corner. Very tentative start. Go down towards the first corner. We're supposed to be braking now, but we're not. We're in it very late. Then T.Y. has to turn in, but then Bradders is there, and then T.Y. unfortunately has to end up being spun round there as well. Then Bradders tries to recover down the escape road and trying to reverse or whatever he's trying to do, and then they both continue. Okay, here's a replay of what happened between Will and Blakeney then. So into the first corner, Will goes up the inside of Keith, and then into the next corner. So he just can't fit two cars through there. Both cars went for the same gap. Probably both thought each other backed off, and just ends up being a racing incident. As we come back from that then, it is still Neil in third place, Stevie second, Bidzster in the lead, Callum in fourth, trying to stick with the pack in front, and Neil is all over the back of Stevie here, not leaving him alone, into the roundabout. Very tight section of track in these Indy cars. Everyone on the alternate tyre at first, then they will have to swap to the primary. Remember, the first 2 laps of the race you can't pit, and then you can pit after that up to lap 31, which is 2 laps from the end. So that 31 is the last lap you can pit, and you've got to go on the primary tyre, which is the harder compound tyre. With this being a street circuit, the alternate tyre should last quite a while anyway, because it's not really going to scrub the tyres as much. So let's see what happens here as Bidzster in the lead there. Neil's falling back into the hands of Callum. So Neil's made a mistake here. Callum's looking like he's going to pounce, just trying to close up to the back of Neil Farmack here as the camera zooms very close in for some reason. That's not me doing it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Project Cars cameras being silly as usual as we go into the hairpin. Now that's a good shot. Actually, commending the cameras for a moment. But Will's in 5th place. He's trying to catch up. The American in 5th place. Got a few absentees this week. We've got Gummy Bear not with us this week, so he unfortunately couldn't make the race, and also Cyrex unfortunately not able to make it as well. But still, the race goes on as Bidzster then in the lead, 9/10 ahead of Stevie, who's actually starting to catch him up now. So Bidzster must have made a mistake somewhere. Stevie's on the ball here, really trying to catch up Bidzster if he can. Neil and Callum are in a nice little battle for 3rd and 4th as well. We've got Will on his own in 5th, Blakeney in 6th, T.Y. 7th. There we go, onto the back straight. So Bidzster then, as Stevie hits the wall behind, so Stevie's lost time there. Stevie hit the wall, and Callum's having a go at Neil Farmack here as well, so that's close happening there as well. As we go onto the straight, that was Keith moving out of the way. Keith is not really getting on very well with these Indy cars. Well, he's not really getting on well with this circuit, to be honest. So yeah, Keith getting well out of the way there, which is a good job. And Neil Farmack still under attack from Callum, and the pit stops are now active. So pit stops are now being active for a lap, so pit stops could happen at any time. But I would imagine people will try and go late into this race to try and use up the most of this alternate tyre, which is the faster tyre, before swapping to the primary. So obviously, it being a street circuit, you're not going to scrub the tyres as much, and you'll not wear the tyres out as much on a street circuit compared to other tracks. with faster corners and higher G-force levels, which scrub the tyre and push the tyre into the tarmac as Neil ends up, well, he's not really having a fight with the tarmac, he's having a fight with the wall there, and Neil Farmack scraped some paint off the side of his car, the independent driver, the KVSH Racing Chevrolet. And Callum then just scrapes the wall there on the exit. Again, everyone really toying with the walls here, just trying to see if they can get the best at the track, as Blakeney is being caught by TY, so TY catching Blakeney here. Bradders is still in 8th place after the misdemeanor at the start, but Bidzster leads the way then. Bidzster really comfy in these Indy cars, loves these open wheel cars, and he's pulling away from Stevie at probably a couple of tenths a lap here. But Stevie, definitely the challenger for the season, and Keith's been into the pits early. He's thought, sod this, I'm going for my tyres now. As Callum and Neil come through, the camera just goes funny there, so we'll just try and swap back. No, the camera's just going stupid there, but Callum and Neil there. Let's have a look at Keith, that's who I was trying to look at, but Keith's come out the pits and he's on his way again. Remember, the graphic doesn't show that you've changed the tyres, unfortunately, on this one, but they have. I can say that everyone did do it because I checked the replay after the race, and everyone did change the tyres correctly. And Stevie is still harassing Bidzster. He's pulled Bidzster in by a good half a second or so. So Stevie not very consistent at the minute, but the pace is definitely there when he can actually get his head down. So when he can do a few clean laps, he's definitely quicker than Bidzster. But we'll see what he can do here, as Neil Farmack is still ahead of Callum, keeping Callum behind him. The AJ4 Enterprises car of Callum behind in 4th place. Teammates with Bidzster, who's leading the race. Neil Farmack on his own independent in this one. Stevie is teammates with Gummy Bear, who's not here this week unfortunately, so the only Penske car is Stevie for this one. As we go down to the first corner, they can go over the blue line into the cross. They can use the pit lane exit line with the racing line, obviously not when someone's coming out the pitch though, as Blakeney and TY go through. TY is now ahead of Blakeney, so TY passes Blakeney for 6th place and moves up into 6th place. Blakeney down to 7th then, so Blakeney just struggling a bit for pace and goes wide there, so definitely struggling with the car a little bit, so just not up to what he wants. But the top 4 still covered by 2 seconds as Bradders gets nicely out of the way because he's been lapped. I think that was it? That was Bradders, yeah. Bradders been lapped in 8th place by the leaders. Cone goes flying there, and Bradders hits it in the background as Callum there closes up to Neil, and Stevie's closing up to the Bidzster here. Oh, Stevie was closing up, he's just drifted the car out and he's lost speed. Neil Farmack goes through. Will Callum be able to capitalise from this? Into the hairpin, Neil's into second, Stevie's in the middle of those two now, so Stevie in a Neil Callum sandwich here, and Bidzster can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there as we look at the car in the background. I think that was Will trying to get past Bradders, but unless they both went wide at the same time, it looked like it was a bit of fun. But Neil Farmack then in 2nd place then, now after Stevie's mistake, up into 2nd place. Stevie down to 3rd, Callum still in 4th, can't quite make any progress yet, but the pit stops could make a difference, and just the race in general can make a difference, because it is one little mistake at Long Beach and you can end up being in a wall and losing a heap of time. But Bidzster can breathe a sigh of relief for a little bit, he can breathe easy for a few laps. Whereas Neil now is holding off Stevie. So Neil independent this season, holding off Stevie in the Team Penske car. Callum's struggling to stay with these two actually, so Callum's struggling for a bit more pace in this one. So Callum's struggling as TY makes a mistake, and TY's gone round. He's round here somewhere. Here we are, we're on board with him. So he's gone round a corner somewhere, and Blakeney goes back through into 6th place. We're on board with Blakeney there. So Blakeney goes back into 6th place as Bradders wallops the wall in the background, trying to rearrange the tyre stack, but Bradders struggling around in 8th place, but it's good on him to keep going and get the experience. Stevie in 3rd place, still a bit more spread out between them all now as we go into the first corner, into the roundabout. Nicely round the roundabout we go. Callum is just about closing, but again they all concertina together like a rubber band effect, and Callum just brushes the wall on the way out there. Stevie definitely pressing on here, definitely trying to put some pressure on Keith. into the right, into the left-hander. Got to use a bit of speed here. Got to go close to the wall like Stevie does. Get the power on early. Go back to the other side of the track. Find the apex for this one because it's a bit of a hidden blind corner. And speaking of blind, I think Stevie was blind there and he hit the wall. So he hit the wall a bit hard there. Missed his braking point. That allows Callum to close in slightly, but again, only the gap that closes down, not the actual position that changes. Stevie hits the wall. Now the position changes. So Stevie hits the wall, obviously felt the pressure, he's just made a few mistakes and he's just lost his rhythm. So once you lose your rhythm at a street circuit, it's very hard to get it back. It takes a few laps to get it back at least. But Neil is in second, Callum now moves up to third place, Stevie down to fourth. So Bidzster will be saying that's good news for the championship because it'll be him and Callum with a few more points and Stevie down in fourth place. Into the first corner, Stevie using all the road he couldn't get away with. Going right up to the wall, in towards the first corner. Round the roundabout, let's go for an onboard shot here, on board with Stevie into the right-handers. So into the first right-hander, into the second one. Got to avoid that curve on the right, otherwise you're going to end up really going off into that tyre wall. Move over to the right-hand side now, behind Callum, into the left-hand corner. Use a bit of the road. Stevie gets a fantastic run through there. Callum then just struggling a bit with the traction. Into the right-hander, got to look for the braking point. Callum just about makes the apex. Stevie gets right on it. Stevie right behind him now. Will he look for a move here? Will he look towards the inside or will he wait for the straight? He looks like he might wait for the straight. Close up under braking. Callum gets a good line through there. So does Stevie. Going for a cutback. Going for to the right hand side. Look how much speed he closed in on Callum before they even get to the hairpin. Now Stevie goes wide. Tries to cut back in, but Callum puts his car right on the line where he needs to be and doesn't allow Stevie through. Now will Stevie be on a push to pass here? We'll have to see as we go to the outside cameras, which are not working. There we are. Stevie goes to the inside of that corner, but he puts him on the outside for the next one, but it doesn't matter because he's got the move done before they even get to the corner. Stevie takes third place back from Callum with a good move there, probably using the push to pass to help him a bit as well. That extra 20 or so, 15 or 20 horsepower, just help him get up towards his top speed. And he just brushes the wall there and gets ahead of Callum. So Stevie into third. Now he's got to chase down Neil. But in all this, Bidzster's managed to pull out a 3.5 second gap over Neil. So he's Bidzster's got a bit more of a cushion here. So lap 10 of 33. That's position so far. Callum then in fourth round here somewhere. There he is. Still trying to stay with Stevie. Stevie actually hit the wall a bit there. So Callum closes up ever so slightly. Will there be a mistake this time into the next corner? No is the answer. Into the complex section and then into the hairpins. Got to set yourself up for the straight. Get into the apex early, get the car turned in, get the power down. Callum gets a good run out of the corner, but so does Stevie. Stevie looks like he can get a lot more traction out of that corner than the rest and just starts to pull away onto the straight. Here's Will in a lonely fifth place in this one. He's been slowly caught in by Blakeney, but not by a huge, vast amount of knots, but Will in a solid fifth place, Blakeney in a nice sixth place as well. Blakeney for the Andretti Autosport team with Keith. Will is in the team with the Dale Coyne Racing with TY, so Will's in fifth, TY's teammate in seventh, so TY struggling a bit more with this car in this one, as Brad has been lapped by the entire field now, apart from Keith, obviously, because Keith's behind him. And Keith has been lapped by the entire field. He's about to be lapped by TY. So that's the position so far as we look back to the battle between Callum and Stevie. And Stevie is still ahead of Callum, but Callum harassing him all the way. Lap 11 of 33, so we're 1/3 distance into this race. And it looks like it's heading towards a pit stop time. Maybe we'll have to see because it depends on the tyre wear. But again, pit stops can happen at any time. Someone could radically alter the strategy and know something that we don't know. So you never know with racing. You've got to watch this space. Long Beach, a fantastic track, used to be used by Formula One back in the day in the early 70s into the 80s as well. So, but then they unfortunately lost the Long Beach Grand Prix, which was a fantastic Grand Prix. Used to use a longer circuit than this, and it used to be up and down all the hills past the buildings and really close to the walls. But obviously this new circuit is still very nice. It's still a nice version of Long Beach, but I do like the old school version. Lots of very narrow bits and a few wider bits where you can pass on. So a good blend of stuff at Long Beach as Brad hits the wall in the background and just again trying to rearrange those tyres. So He's not doing bad at trying to rearrange those tyres. He's just got to learn the perfect angle to rearrange them, and he will have his job done. But Bradders, in all seriousness, going around in 8th place, still putting in some decent times. This is all experience for Bradders in this one, and he'll get there in time. He's just going to have to get the experience from this race and take it into his mind and learn from it. And hopefully we should see him mid-table in a few championships time. As we look at Stevie and Callum, then the main battle on track, 3/10 is the gap, which is that you cannot cover these. You could cover these cars with a blanket. As we go out of the roundabout down to the two 90-degree lefts. First one with an awful curb on the inside. Second one with an even worse curb on the inside. So it doesn't look like it'll hurt you much, but with the severity of the rumble strip, it really does throw the car off balance, especially with it being an open wheel IndyCar. Not so bad if you're in a GT car, but still quite bad on an open wheel. As Keith tries to get out of the way, but just about gets out of the way. Callum had a better run there than Stevie. Might help Callum close up a little bit, but again Stevie with good traction out the corners. Blakeney, and we've got a car in. Blakeney's in the pits. Blakeney's gone for a pit stop, so he's gone to try and trump everyone else, see if he can come up with a different strategy. So Blakeney comes into the pits for his tyre change then. I think he's already done it. He's on his way out actually, so yeah, he's on his way out the pits. So Blakeney on his way out the pits. As a few more cars go through, as Bidzster then goes through, Neil Farmack goes through. Where's Bradders going to rejoin in all this? He's around here somewhere. No, it's Blakeney, sorry, not Bradders. There he is. Blakeney goes to the end of the pit lane, and then Callum and Stevie just go through. So good job there by Blakeney, and actually goes to the end of the pit lane properly this time. So unlike he did last season, where he cut it a little bit, but as most other people did, not just Blakeney, about a good 50% of the field, maybe even 75% of the field actually cut across the line, and ended up with a few penalties here and there, or just general slap wrists from the room leader. So let's give you an update then on positions. It is Bidzster in the lead by 4.1 seconds from Neil Farmack. So Bidzster dominating this race so far. Only 2 or 3 laps off of half distance here, so he's not doing too bad. Still not pitted yet. Neil's doing the same, not pitted. He's still in 2nd place. He's 4.5 seconds behind the leader. 3.5 seconds in front of Stevie in 3rd place, with Callum 1.2 seconds behind him. So a little bit more spread out now, but again, just everyone trying to trump each other's pace. This is not over yet by a long shot, because we've still got over half the race to go, and with the pit stops that could bunch people up. So we'll see what kind of ideas people come up with here as they go through the roundabout. Lovely pictures here of Stevie going round the track with Callum following him suit. Callum trying his best to catch up and hits the wall. Again, that just shows you how hard he's trying. As we've got a car in the background that's spun round. Who's that? Is it Blakeney on his new tyres? So the primary tyres, a harder compounder tyre, they take a few laps to get up to proper working temperature. So Blakeney then struggling with the car's handling and straight into the wall again. It's like the rear end does not want to go around the corner, but he's just got to work at these tyres, get the heat into them, but without actually going mad into the corners. You've just got to be careful for the first few laps, get the tyre pressures up to the right peak, and get the tyre temperatures how they want it as well. And then the tyre should start working for you, but again it does take a couple of laps for it to work. But Bidzster, Neil, Stevie and Callum all thinking alike, keeping the alternate tyre going for as long as they can, the softer tyre, because it is the grippier tyre and the faster tyre, and then probably go on to the primary tyre for maybe the last 5 laps or so. So again, strategy is key here as well as raw speed. Bidzster's definitely got the raw speed in this one, and Stevie, but Stevie's just been a bit clumsy with a few mistakes, but again that happens in some races. Neil Farmack using a lot of them curbs there, taking risky lines there, Neil Farmack, but you know, as they say, sometimes with risk comes reward. If in doubt, flat out, by one of my favourite drivers of all time, Colin McRae, the World Rally Champion of 1995. One of the best rally drivers of all time, just unfortunately tragically died in a helicopter accident in 2007. And just again another legend that died too young, but Colin McRae, one of the best to be honest with you, he's up there with Senna. He's one of the best drivers of all time in his discipline. As we go back to IndyCar then, it is Bidzster in the lead, Neil, Stevie and Callum. So Callum falling off Stevie a little bit here, just a couple of tenths down off Stevie than what he was a few laps ago. So Stevie definitely trying to get on the power, but again, not really making any inroads into Neil either. So looks like we've got a bit of a stalemate going on here for positions as we go into the first corner. Stevie into the roundabout with Callum following. They were looking at Callum's car, the AJ40 car. Nice delivery car here. As we go up over the curbs, it's TY then in 6th place. Now he's trying to catch up to the other guys, but I don't see that happening. It's just going to have to keep consistent and see what he can do with the car. But Blakeney then on his new tyres, slowly getting used to those primary set of tyres. Probably just about got them scrubbed in now, and just got to be careful as he goes through the corners. And then Bradders is in the pits for his pit stop, so Bradders comes in to take the alternate tyres off. Thinks right there, now's enough time, and tries to find his pit box. There it is, up on the jacks, and then tyres will be changed, and then he'll be back on his way. Keith then in 9th place there, so Keith still going round, and hats off to Keith for still keeping going, soldiering on in this. Might not be having too much fun around this circuit, but I can guarantee the next few tracks, Keith, will be fun, so just stick with it, my friend, you'll be fine. As we look at Bradders then coming out of the pits, let's have a look where he's going to rejoin. We've got TY going past. We've just had a few of the cars go past as well. Let's have a look if we've got anyone else coming out close to us. So you can go off the pit limiter now, Bradders. Bradders, get off the pit limiter. There we go. We can actually get going now, and it goes to the end of the pit lane where the yellow line is, end of the yellow line, and then rejoins the track at a very snail's pace, but gets going in the end. So into the roundabout he goes. Just got to get used to those primary set of tyres now, and it should be good. Meanwhile, Callum is only half a second behind Stevie now, so Stevie must have made a mistake somewhere. Either that or Callum's on it, but looking at the gap, I would say Callum is on it. And Callum closing into the back of Stevie, who's only 2.8 seconds off Neil Farmack now, so that gap's come down as well. So gap's coming down here, so as it goes later on into the race, looks like Stevie and Callum picking up the pace a bit. Callum more than Stevie though. Stevie dives into the pits now. This could be a game changer. Stevie into the pits early for his pit stop, so he's had enough of those alternate tyres. That's probably why we're going all over the place. He's burned his tyres out too much and he's in. So Callum now will put in some fast laps here if he can. Some qualifying laps, and he's throwing it into the first corner. Use a couple of those push to passes as well, just to gain a bit of time on the in lap. Always a good strategy to use. Just gain a couple of tenths, every tenth helps, so you can always come out ahead of the car in front, and on a street circuit, position is key. Neil Farmack then in 2nd place. He'll be pushing a bit harder now. He knows Stevie's in as well, just to make sure he doesn't get jumped. Bidzster looks comfy in the lead though on the alternate tyres. He's still got a 6.9 second lead over Neil Farmack in 2nd place, and Callum pushing in the background, going close to the wall. He's only 2.7 behind Neil now, so he's gone down to Stevie's gap, so he's definitely pushing. Stevie's out the pits, he's just coming out the pits now, so coming into the pits almost loses you a lap. Insane. As we go down to the end of the pit lane, let's see if Stevie does it properly. He goes down to the end of the pit lane where the yellow line is, just about scrapes it in at the end of the yellow line. Might have put half a wheel over, but half a wheel's nothing compared to going out really early. So Neil Farmack's into the pits now, so Neil's in. Callum goes round again, so Callum obviously feeling these alternate tyres are working for him, and Callum looking like he's going to go later into this race, so it must be a strategy that the AJ40 guys come up with. So Callum and Bidzster choosing to go longer then, but Callum does go wider there, so you've got to be wondering, is that front left had enough? But the only time will tell, as Stevie then he's coming into the back straight. Neil's just on the jacks in the pit lane now, but it's a very long pit lane here at Long Beach. Neil's on his way. Stevie's coming towards the last complex now. Here he is, he's into the last complex. He's got to go through the hairpin yet, but Neil Will takes 3rd place for now. Into the first corner. Neil Farmack's still going down the pit lane. I think Neil's going to easily do this. Stevie's coming down over the line now, but Neil's already at the end of the pit lane. He's just got to get up to speed. There he goes. Neil goes up to speed, goes to the end of the yellow line and onto the track. Neil keeps ahead of Stevie, but Callum and Bidzster are going to be the ones to watch. Bidzster goes round again, Callum goes round again, so not choosing to pit yet. TY in the background there. Will in 3rd place again, he's not pitted yet either. So Will around here somewhere, there he is there, the camera gets in now. So Will in 3rd place then, and still keeps, still in 3rd for now, but again, he's not pitted yet. So Neil in 4th, Stevie 2 seconds behind in 5th. So Stevie's made up some time in this pit stop, but not a lot. So Neil's got to get his tyres up to working temperature as well, and Stevie's trying to do the same in the background. T.Y. Blakeney, Bradders and Keith all in the same position still, so it's mainly these top 5 drivers that we're watching in this race for now, just to see where they're going to come out the pits. Bidzster and obviously Callum have gone round yet again, but Bidzster's in the last section of track now. Let's go on board with Bidzster here. Is he going to pit this time? Into the hairpin, very close into the hairpin. That's Bidzster's line through there. Will Bidzster pit this time? No, he doesn't. He goes round again, so still feeling comfortable with these tyres. Callum then. Will Callum fold this lap? Will he call it time on the alternate tyres, or is he going to try and keep going? If he keeps going, I'll be amazed. But yeah, he is keeping going, so amazing stuff. The AJ Foyt cars of Callum and Bidzster really stretching out these alternate tyres. And let's see if it works for him. So obviously can't really tell with the gap at the minute, but we're only going to tell after the pit stops. But Stevie and Neil right amongst each other, so they're in a battle situation. That's not going to help them out with pace as well, because Neil will be trying to keep Stevie behind. Stevie goes to the outside, Neil defends the inside. Stevie on the outside line then. Cuts in for the line. Neil's on the line. Stevie has to go and eat tyres. You can't go too wide through that corner unless you're bonkers. But I mean, don't get me wrong, these two guys, as I know them, they are bonkers, but in their own lovely ways. And but they're not quite that bonkers to go side by side through a corner that's only wide enough for one car. But Neil Farmack then holding back Stevie now. This is all going to go into the favour of Callum and Bidzster, and Callum and Bidzster eking out the alternate tyres, but it's whether they're going to last for that long. As Bidzster slides out the last corner, he's actually catching up to Stevie and Neil here, having a battle. So he can see them battling, and he's just focusing on them, trying to catch up to them and use them as a target to sort of extract a bit more extra lap time. Callum still goes round as well, but Bidzster's pulled out 2 seconds on him compared to what the gap was before. It was about 10 seconds before, now the gap's about 11.7 to 12 seconds. So Bidzster really focusing on Neil Farmack and Stevie to try and lap them, just to try and give him some focus, as we have 10 laps remaining in this first race at Long Beach. Yes, this is only the first race still. Plenty of action so far in this race, and Neil and Stevie still side by side out of the next corner. As we look towards the next corner, Neil gets the inside line, Stevie goes for a cutback, tries to use his traction onto the straight. Gap closing down a little bit, but it's not going to be close enough before the next complex. Neil resumes the position for now. The independent driver, the KVSH Racing Chevrolet, in 4th place, with the other Chevrolet of the Team Penske car of Stevie behind him. Remember, these two have both made their pit stops. Bidzster and Callum yet to pit still. Bidzster still goes round, still feeling those tyres are good, trying to catch up to Stevie and Neil. Callum then in 2nd place. Will he pit this time? It's still the same gap from him to Bidzster, but he's got to see if he's going to pit this time. Keith there looking to move out the way. Keith actually goes into the pits again. So Keith he's retired from the race. Keith has retired from the race, so Keith retiring from this race. So don't know if that was a rage quit or not, but we'll have to see. If he's quit out of the race and without due course, then we'll have to see what that's going to mean. But unfortunately Keith retires from the race then, so we have 8 people remaining in this race. Bidzster trying to catch up to Callum as we look at Bidzster's car there. It goes around here somewhere. There he is, still going round as Stevie and Neil and Stevie still battling out, and Neil's winning the battle so far. He's actually pulled out a couple of tenths on Stevie this time round, so just obviously the tyres coming to him, getting used to how the tyres are working. And through the hairpin we go. Bidzster closes up now. Will he call it time here on these tyres? He's still going round, so he's probably going to go right to the end of the pit window, I would imagine, because lap 31's the last time you can pit, and if he's happy enough on these tyres, then why not? Because then he'll have fresher rubber at the end of the race. So, and he's still got good pace on him. He's still the same gap to his teammates. So, and you can see Neil and Stevie. You can see that he's reeling them in. Oh, we've got a car spun in the background. Who's it? Stevie, I think. Stevie spun. Stevie spun there. Now, was that any contact with Neil? I don't think it was, but we'll get a replay just to clarify. Okay, here's a look at what happened to Stevie then. So he goes into the first corner and then just carries too much speed, and the back end just over rotates, and then it goes round into the wall, and then he gets the cars perfectly spun round, and then continues on his way. So as you come back from that, then Neil goes in, stays in 4th, but Stevie spins himself out and takes himself 5.5 seconds behind Neil now from being right up behind his car. So he's lost 5 seconds in that mistake there. as Neil and Stevie are catching up to, well, Neil's catching up to Will, who's yet to pit as well. So Will's yet to pit, just making these tyres last a bit longer. But he might have to call it time at some point, because especially with being on a controller, it's going to kill the tyres. But does Will give in? Yes, he does. Will goes into the pit lane. He calls time. That is it. So he's in the pit lane. Now will Bidzster follow him? No, he's not. Bidzster goes round again. He's lapped Stevie already, so he knows he's going to come out ahead of Stevie. And he's trying to focus on Neil here. And again, Callum goes round again as well. Lap 25 of 33. The tyres are still good for the AJ Foyt team. So remarkable tyre saving skill, just remarkable driving skills here really, and tyre saving. But Bidzster and Callum obviously feeling like the alternate tyre is the tyre to be on, and they're going to keep it as long as they can. Obviously pit window ends on the end of lap 31, so if you start lap 32, your pit lane window is closed, and if you don't do your pit stop in the race, you'll be disqualified from the race. So Bidzster and Callum know this all too well, and they will hopefully abide by the thing to actually pit. Bidzster goes round. Callum then in second place, still 10 seconds behind Bidzster, so he's clawed some time back. So obviously Bidzster might be just having his tyres go off a little bit more. Let's see if he pits this time round. Still got Neil Farmack ahead of him. Will he keep chasing Neil, or will he call it? No, he's going to keep chasing him. Blakeney in 7th place, coming up to be lapped as well. So Neil in traffic here. Going to get through Blakeney, who's in 7th place. Into the first corner, then Neil Farmack goes through. He's going to catch Blakeney at an awkward place. He's right behind him at the roundabout. This is going to lose him time to Stevie if he's not careful, but Blakeney's still not right behind him yet, so Blakeney might let him through on the next straight, or in between the left-right corners. But not yet, so not close enough yet to have the position. Callum's obviously gone round again as well as Bidzster, but we'll just go back to the Neil cam to actually have a look and see how close he is to the back of Blakeney. There's Blakeney ahead of him, down towards the last complex. They have the Formula Drift section that they have for Formula Drift, drifting through this section and through the hairpin as well, and into the hairpin then right behind Blakeney now. So Blakeney will have to start thinking about letting people through here. He doesn't want to be causing and impeding another driver. Callum's closing up to Bidzster a bit more still, but Bidzster's not having it. He's still going around the track, and Neil Farmack still with Blakeney in front of him. So Blakeney not wanting to get out of the way very much, but he has got some decent pace, Blakeney. So, and he is in a battle to try and catch Will up as well. But there is a big gap between them. Let's have a look what the gap is. It is 17 seconds between Blakeney and Will. So bit of a gap there, but again, Neil Farmack doesn't want to be held up any more than he needs to, because he's battling Callum for position on the way out of the pits as well as Bidzster, so doesn't want to lose any time if he can avoid it. But again, Blakeney's actually pulling away from Neil slightly here, so looks like it's going to be a bit of a stalemate with the blue flag at the minute. But Bidzster then follows through in the lead behind him. Still not pitted yet, 27 of 33, so only 3 or 4 laps left to pit, and then that will be it. He will not be able to pit after that. So let's see then as Neil comes through the hairpin. Blakeney in front. Let's have a look at Bidzster then on the different camera. Bidzster, will he pit this time? No, again, not wanting to pit. Bidzster definitely not wanting to pit in this race. And starts lap 29. He's got to pit in the next 2 laps. He's got to pit, otherwise he's not going to be able to get the thing from this race. As Bradders comes up to get lapped here. So Bradders about to get lapped here by Bidzster behind the race leader, and Bradders into the roundabout and goes a bit wide there. Oh, the car lags a bit. Bidzster backs off just in case, and goes to the next corner. I would imagine Bradders will keep out the way on the right hand side here to let him through, or just hit the wall and then Bidzster, the leader, Bradders makes a mistake, and then Bidzster almost loses a place, and then Stevie tries to come up to unlap himself from Bidzster here, but Bradders just makes a mistake there. And Bidzster then with Stevie ahead of him now, so he just lets Stevie go, thinks right, sorry. Oh, Stevie's spun round! Stevie's spun round, he's lost all that precious time, he gets the car spun round. Callum's coming round the corner, careful Callum, oh, he hits him round again. Oh, he actually rights him the correct way, so that's good. Get a gear, Stevie, and off you go. So, nothing that Callum could do there to avoid that, but Yep, Stevie just spins the car around and then couldn't rejoin properly. So Bidzster will know this now, and Bidzster is in. Finally, Bidzster pits in this race. Bidzster comes into the pits, lap 29. Will Callum follow him, or will he keep going? Now, is he heading to, looks like he's heading towards the pits. Yes, Callum and Bidzster, both the AJ40 team, are in. So this will be the deciding thing, whether they're going to be the deciding factor of the race. Are they going to come out ahead of Neil and Stevie? But again, they've had some spins in their own battles, so I don't think it's going to be the case. But never say never, you never know. So as we've got Blakeney and TY closing up to each other, they're on the same lap. So Blakeney there in 6th place, just going through shot there around that corner. And here's TY approaching the same corner. So TY's reeled Blakeney in, and he's only 5 seconds behind him now. As Blakeney then goes out that next corner, so that's another battle developing on track. So Bidzster and Callum in for their stops. Bidzster's coming out the pits now. Bidzster's out the pits. Callum going down the pit lane as well. Neil into the last section of track. But remember, they've got the whole pit lane to go down. Callum's got a bit more pit lane left. Bidzster's out. Bidzster's out. He's in the lead for definite. Lap 30. So he's in the pit. He's out on track and he's done his pit stop. Callum comes down the pit. Exit of the pit lane. There's Neil Farmack across the line. Callum's around here somewhere. There he is. So Callum then gets out in 2nd place, so that longer stint on the alternate tyres did work, and also with Neil and Stevie battling as well, that helped pull out the gap. So a good job there by Callum and Bidzster, good strategy in this race, but everyone will have twigged onto that for the 2nd race, so you can guarantee the 2nd race will probably have a lot even more excitement than this one. But just to give you the overall positions so far on lap 30 is Bidzster in the lead, 8 seconds ahead of his teammate Callum Paul Banks in 2nd place. Neil Farmack is in 3rd place there. Neil Farmack in 3rd place with Stevie in 4th. So Stevie in 4th place. Then it is Will in 5th place. A decent race for the American in this one. Blakeney in 6th. But he's only got 3 seconds to TY now, and he's made another mistake there. TY can sense another place. Every point counts in this championship. So you can see Blakeney there, and then you can see TY there approaching the same hairpin. 2.5 seconds in it. So that's going to be a good little battle towards the line. So we'll just keep an eye on this now. But there's Blakeney coming through shot there. Let's have a look on board with TY. Let's see if he's actually going to catching up to Blakeney ahead. So we're looking at on board with TY now. Take on a lap of Long Beach or into the 1st corner, into the apex, and then running out wide into the roundabout. A very unique piece of track, a bit like the Lowe's hairpin. Whoever gets there first, he wins the corner. TY goes a bit wide out of that corner there. Big curb on the inside. Again, runs a bit wide into the right-hander. Very close to spinning on the curb there with putting on the power, but gets away with it. Down to the left-hander. Can carry a lot of speed into this one. And then get the power on, use all the road on the outside, back across to the left, into this right-hander with a bit of a blind exit to it. Blind apex and exit. And then down towards the last complex of corners. Still catching up to Blakeney ahead into the last complex. Turning into the corner, and then Blakeney there, he's made another mistake there. Blakeney's run wide again, so 1.5 seconds now into this last bit. Got to get the car turned into the hairpin. You can see TY on the controller because his hands in the cockpit, just going to almost full lock every time. So that's how you can tell that they use the cockpit camera. You can tell from Will's point of view as well, because you can see the hands at the bottom, right centre, left centre. So that's how it happens there. But here's on board with Bidzster. He's about to lap Will as well. So Will is about to get lapped here by Bidzster, who's still pushing hard on these primary tyres. Into the corner, into the apex. Catching up to Will. But not much in the way of a blue flag yet for him, so Will's still putting up a good fight here, but obviously didn't want to let the leader through. But Bidzster's got time, but again, this is a bit of a bad practice here. But again, got to wait for the straight, see if he can get past him on the straight. If Will doesn't let him pass on the straight, then that's when I'd be concerned. But Bidzster gets the power on, Will gets the power on as well, and Will lift off and let him through. He's not. He's keeping the power down. So Will keeping the power down, not wanting to let Bidzster through here. So Bidzster will be a bit annoyed about this. Because again, it is a lap car he's coming up to, and Will definitely have the blue flags. He might even be getting a penalty for the blue flags at the rate he's going. It's supposed to be blue flag, and then you have maybe 4 or 5 corners, and then you let them through. So, or not let them through, but just, at least give them an opportunity to pass. But now is he getting out of the way? No, he's not. He's still keeping going. So Will not wanting to give up this place here, but Blakeney and TY are now. The climax to Blakeney and TY. TY throws it away into the wall, and Neil Farmack's there and hits him. So Neil Farmack couldn't do anything there and hits him. Stevie will close up now. Will Stevie get through without incident as well? Yes, he will. But Bidzster's finally through past Will, but it took a lot longer than he expected. But he's only lost a second to Callum, but he's just quite fortunate that he has got an 8-second gap. So Will just needs to watch the blue flags in future, I think. But nevertheless, Bidzster is going to win the race at Long Beach and maintain his 100% win record in this championship. Bidzster wins the race. Good race by Bidzster, a good strategy as well by that team. Will's going to finish in 5th. So, and Callum's going to be second. A good finish for Callum in second. Hook to the wall on the inside. Neil and Steve are the only two left on the actual same lap as the leaders, the lead lap. And Neil Farmack then looks like he's going to come home with the third here. But he's just going to wait and see what Stevie's going to do. He's going to make a mistake here. No, he's not. He gets on the power quite nicely. Neil Farmack is going to take 3rd place here at Long Beach. Rounds off the podium, and Stevie will be a bit annoyed before because he knew he had the pace in that race. So lucky for him. Stevie is 4th. Will's going to be in 5th. He's already crossed the line. Blakeney in 6th. TY is going to finish in 7th. And it's going to be Bradders in 8th. So we'll just get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that then. So it is Bidzster who wins that race. Well done to Bidzster, 9 seconds ahead of Callum in 2nd place. So it's an AJ Foyt 1-2, and then we've got 3rd place for Neil Farmack. It's 4th for Stevie. 5th is Will. Then 6th is Blakeney. 7th for TY, and Bradders in 8th, and Keith unfortunately gets a DQ from the race. So as we come back from that then, there is your winner, Bidzster, in the orange and black AJ Foyt Enterprises car there. He wins that race, and we'll see you guys for race 2. Take care, guys.